Hi there, I'm Joe with JP Ford Coin and Currency. I'm here to talk about a thing that we get asked about a lot, which is how do we know if the coins and the bullion that we sell is real or if it's fake? And when we do buys, how do we know? How do we check for things? How do we test and see if our silver is actual silver, if the gold is gold? Even with some of the other coins like the copper, how do we know certain things are actual coins, if they're real? So I'd like to show you a few things here today. I have a bunch of different things laid out, things that we've bought over the counter in the last basically 2 years, ranging from even some smaller things like Indian head cents, where, they look nice, but they aren't real at all. None of these are actually real. They're ordered from, online, different things like that. Even some pennies where the penny is real itself, but the mint mark is fake, where the mint mark has been added. As you know, this one, the infamous 43, obviously that one's the steel cent, and we'll start off with the first way how we check things, is a magnet. So I have this little one that's on a little keychain, and I can go through, like this one, the 43, if it's the copper, I should be able to go and pick this up and it shouldn't stick. But this one, obviously, it's a steel cent that was plated with copper using electroplating. So that's one of the first ways, one of the easiest ways how you can go through and check. So you should be able to pick up only nothing really. Like the only thing that should actually connect to this is the staples on the coin itself. If anything picks up on this, it's not real at all. And a lot of them, especially the newer fakes, aren't being made with steel or anything like that. They're being made with brass, pewter, things like that that won't get picked up by it. But I do have a few here that will. So I can go through and, like all of these $half, things like that, none of these will get picked up. But then we start getting over here. Like here's the first one, the Silver Eagle. Now first off, it's a 2020 proof in this odd plastic container. When you see these right off the bat, without their box, without a certificate, just sitting here like this, it's not going to be real. So, and you can also see off of die patterns, the date of it, things like that, where it looks odd. But another one of the great ways is with this, a magnet, where you can run through your stuff and you can see, like here's another one. This. It's not supposed to be magnetic. And that one's hard to get off. So, and that's another way, but so to test the other ones that aren't magnetic, like we'll even try some of this gold, that doesn't stick. So one of the other ways that we use is the Sigma Metalytics. So what we can go through here is I'll start off with some of the silver. So I'll start with this one that was magnetic. Say you didn't have a magnet, but one of your local dealers has this machine and you can ask to use it. So you can bring in some of your stuff and it's as simple as selecting the mode. So I went to silver. I went to go over. Silver Eagles are supposed to be 3/9 fine. So you select that, you do run cal, and then it's ready. You have this, and then you place your coin in the middle. So there's these two brackets and the arrow. If the coin is real, it's supposed to come up anywhere in between these two brackets. So I'll grab a coin out to show you guys. So I'll grab this Silver Eagle right here. I'll place it. See, now that's what it's supposed to look like if it was real. There's a square, and if it shows up anywhere in between that two brackets, that means the composition of the coin is correct. So this is mainly for checking if, like for example with these, if the silver in it is correct. So another thing that you can also do is make sure to check all around the coin, everything with that, is also weigh it. Now sometimes the weighing isn't the best because they have been known to have lead filling and then plating it with a silver coating. So you can take a coin like this and we'll weigh it. So Silver Eagles are supposed to be 1 troy ounce. So look at ounces troy. So it's off. That should be exactly dead on. So if I take, let me grab an eagle. See, that one's 0.001 over. So that's what it should be. It should be not that much off.
Well, that's because it's got a little bit of copper added in on top of that 1 ounce of silver.
Yeah, so it should be dead on. So the scale is a good way for a lot of coins where you can go through, you're flipping through some of these coins, you're looking, okay, like these two. Obviously, the comparison between these two coins are a major difference. This one is a proof, and this one is a mint state. So they are different coins, but even just the telltales of them, it's so obvious on some of them.
So, Joe, let me ask you a question now. You have some half dollars that are down here.
Yep.
And you already said that these are all fake. How would someone know what the half dollar is supposed to weigh?
So you can go and you can look inside of the red book, the retail book. You can look it up online on different websites like NGC's website, things like that, where they will tell you the weight. You can go and once you handle enough of them, you can tell almost by hand. But I would recommend getting a scale because even with some of these, now some of these don't look the best. Some of these fakes are very obvious to tell. But I mean, this Walker, if it was mixed in with some of the other ones, where you go through and so I'll grab out another Walker, and they look. I mean, this one has some yellow coloring, but if you didn't know too much, you wouldn't exactly know. So one of the things that we can check is the weights. So we'll go over here, and then we'll go to grams. So this one is the real one.
Okay, a little light. Supposed to be 12.5 new, but that's worn out quite a bit. Look at that, it's too heavy.
It's too heavy.
Yep.
So that's another thing. So we'll go and you can also tell another thing is by the sound. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things where you've probably heard, looking through your change, stuff like that. You get back change. If you have something silver in that change, it's so iconic, the sound of it, because of how loud. So here's the fake one. It has almost a deeper tone to it. But then the real one, it's just a little bit louder. It's higher pitch and lasts longer.
Now, you talk about the sound. What about that app that we tell our customers about for their phone?
There is an app that you can download for the ping test. So what you would do is you can get it. It's free on basically everyone's phone. You can take your coin and then take another coin and go balance it on your finger and then smack it and have it right next to your microphone. And the ringing noise that it leaves matches a certain frequency for the composition of the coin. So there's a lot of different ways that you can test them.
Now, of course, hitting it with another coin, don't do that with mint state coins. Only with bullion coins.
Yeah,
we use a pencil if we have the nicer ones.
And you can also get, like, anything would really work. A pencil, a little piece of plastic, things like that, where you go through and... So we have some of them that are very, this. A proof 89 Morgan. I mean, so some of them do. So, like, for example, this one says copy. And some of them will say copy. Like, this 1861 Confederate States of America half dollar says copy. So some of them are more obvious than others. Here's an ancient coin. Says copy. So some of them are a lot easier to tell. Some of them are covered up, like this one, 92cc Morgan. That's a fake. Some people don't know. We've bought a lot of these coins where they've bought from other places not knowing that they were real or that they were fake. And a lot of them turned out to be fake. So with some of these gold that we have, this is the California gold. It's one of the most faked gold pieces out there. It's so small, and they were made fake even in the 1800s when they first came out. They were making copper versions. But now what they do is they'll go and they'll take these little tiny coins and they plate them in 14 karat gold. And some you can tell the plating is coming off, like that one, or you can tell that one wasn't even plated. But so here's another machine that we use is a key tester. So we use this for our gold. So when we get in things, we can go through and I'll turn this on. And then I'll get some of these coins. See, now, the one thing that you have to be careful with is, even though we have this tester, if I take this coin and put it down on it, it's coming up in the 14 karat range. And it's staying there. So that's the one thing where you have to be careful. This was plated in gold. So it wasn't just made of a different composition. It actually has a plating. So one of the things that you can do is go on the edge that it doesn't have a plating and then retest it, and it's in the red. And almost all California golds, you can tell by the way it was made. You can look at it with buying a magnifier or a loop, anything like that, where you can take something like this, that's, a simple 7 times, 10 times, anything like that, and pick it up, and once you look at it, you can see the casting marks from it being poured into sand, which the actual gold, the California golds, weren't poured into sand. So the key tester, that's one of the things where we can test things with it, but you have to be cautious. You have to know how to use it. Where, you can go and it's like the same as testing, like a piece of gold. Like, you have a gold ring that you go to test with this, and it comes up in 14 karat, just like that one was. Where, if you test something like this, where, oh yeah, I know this is 14 karat, but I just tested that and it came up as 14 karat as well. That's where you have to use multiple methods of checking something.
And that's something else that we do when we buy jewelry. We use a file, and we file into the piece of jewelry that would go through any plating that's there to get down to the base metal if it exists and there's a question about it.
Yeah.
All right. Now tell me, what's the best tool, though, for verifying? Of all things, it's your knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's mainly, where you've seen so many of these, when you pick up a Franklin and it looks like that, I've seen so many of them that I'm just able to tell right off the bat. Or, some of the barbers where you see that it's like this, where they're made of brass. And you can see where, and some of these we've gotten, where you can see this is one of the coins where it's very obvious that you can see the casting marks from it being poured in the sand, especially on the back of that. So some of them are a lot more obvious than the other ones. Some will say copy. Other ones are, things that have been placed on there where it was real at a time, but added a mint mark and it's fake.
So, Joe, you've talked about coins, you've talked about gold that can be fake, you've talked about some silver eagles. How about things like silver bars? Can silver bars be fake?
Yeah, so we have a few over here as well, where we've gotten some of these. Now, German silver, that's a whole thing on its own.
Silver.
It's not even silver, but this is a proof bar, which we can go and we can test this as well on the Sigma over here, where we can go through, and I might have to use the different wand for this one. So we'll go down, we'll go to silver, 3 nines fine, pure. We go to test it.
It's outside.
Yep, it's outside, just like the other ones were. And then the same thing with this one, Royal Canadian Mint. Now this has that same yellowing that you've seen on almost all of these coins, where we go through and, if you didn't know any better, well, first off, let's test the weight on this.
Wait, so you're telling me that the Royal Canadian Mint counterfeits their own coins?
So it wasn't the mint that made this themselves. It would have been a private, anything like that. You can order these online.
Oh,
so sometimes you'll see deals where, like silver right now, it's over $23. People will go online and they'll see things for, silver at $22. Maybe they didn't update their website, or silver at $21. Maybe they didn't change it since the last time they looked. And they'll buy it. And then we see a lot of them come in these plastic holders, which, as you know, are expensive on their own. So you see these bars that come in, and you buy them back from Spot with a 50-cent plastic holder. There's something sketchy about that, and they're always fake. So that's one of the ways where, it's always people, there's always someone out there trying to make, trying to scam someone over, mess someone over, and you got to be careful with who you buy from, verified buyers online or a physical person in person, where you can go through and, if you go to someone in person, if you ask, hey, can you show me a way on how you know this is real? Or can I get this tested? If I get this tested and if it's not real, can I bring it back? If they tell you no, like if you know that they have a Sigma and you're looking at a coin, say you're looking at a bust half. And if you're like, okay, I really like this 1807, can you check this on your Sigma for me? And if they tell you, no, we can't do that for you, it should be an automatic red flag. It should be I'm not going to buy this. I know it's fake. If you aren't going to test it for me in front of me, there should be no reason why you shouldn't. So that should be an automatic red flag. Now, picking up this coin, it's funny because here's something that 1807, it should be a lettered edge. It's not. It's a reeded edge. So that's one of the things where even the counterfeiters got it wrong because I guess they didn't look enough into the coin. So this coin, they went and they copied one of the later dies of this that had the reeded edge. It has the width of like it's supposed to, where it's wider than a normal $half, but they copied a later one, not an earlier one, so they didn't have the lettered edge. So that's some of the things where the knowledge comes into play, where you go and you pick up something and you're like, wait a minute, this is an 1807. This is supposed to have a lettered edge. I know this is fake.
So let me ask you a question now. If one of our viewers has a big collection, they've bought a bunch of silver and gold from other places, and they want to go and test their stuff, will you do it for them?
Yeah, I don't mind testing at all. I would appreciate testing the stuff, showing how I do it, things like that. Like I've showed you guys in this video, how I test it, how I actually can compare even without using the machines, just looking at it, things like that. And most other shops should be willing to do that for you as well. Now, don't get me wrong, if you come in there with, 1,000 ounces of silver when they're at their busiest moment on a Friday, they might not be willing to do it right away. But if you call out to them, if you reach out to them before and come at a slower part of the day, there should be no reason why myself or another dealer would be not willing to, test your silver for you.
And we have 2 of those Sigmas, so we've actually gone where we've been working with customers of our own, and we've handed that other customer the second Sigma, taught them how to use it, and just let them go to town on it.
Yeah, where we'll have the personal one, but then the second one, especially if it's someone we know, they can bring in their stuff, they'll go to one of the side counters, and we've taught them how to use it from videos like this or just explanations inside of the store, and they've gone through and tested it on their own. And we've seen a lot of stuff where, it's been people that have no idea because they've been faking coins for so long.
Yeah. Yep, well, good. Well,
yeah.
Tell us something interesting about the shop this weekend that's happened so far. It's only Saturday, but tell me something interesting.
We've processed through a lot of stuff getting ready for a show that we're doing in 2 weeks, but it's mainly just looking at some of the coins that we buy across the counter. It's really looking through the interesting stuff, the more common stuff, like 90%. We get that all the time. That's just whatever. But then some of the cooler things, like we had some little tiny gold coins before that were commemoratives from like the Franklin Mint or something like that, where they weren't expensive. They were such a small amount of gold, but they were just so weird and cool looking.
Yeah, our customers were extremely happy to be able to get some $12 gold coins. Being real gold too, which is amazing. Yeah, so I like the oddball stuff that comes in here. Nothing too expensive, anything like that. It's just cool. Some of the random tokens that we get in, things like that. Very good. All right, well, tell us how to find you, Joe.
I'm in Surfside Beach, South Carolina. You can go to my website or call me at my phone number as well. We do a lot of online stuff. We're at a lot of shows in South Carolina.
11 this year.
Yep. And the main thing is the shop, though. We're here Friday through Sunday, every single weekend.
And we switched up this case a little bit.
Yeah, started to organize through, put out some different coins. We had a lot of graded coins that we bought in the last few weeks. So I figured, swap out the old, put in some new, get some fresh inventory for anyone to see. If you're ever in Myrtle Beach, definitely come down, check us out. I'd be glad to help you with whatever, anything like that. Even if you just want to come in here and talk to me. It doesn't have to be about coins. It could just be, come in here, say hi. You're welcome whenever. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, let's say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah. Hope you all have a good day.
And we'll see you in the next video.